I've abandoned my Bloodhound and Maxed Inferno account to start from scratch as a level 3, and my goal is to complete old school Runescape. Collection log, Max Cape, Zuk Helm, Quest Speedrunning, Leagues, you name it. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, there will be a playlist link in the description. In this video, I'm looking to double my collection log slot number, which currently stands at 106. An extra goal I have in mind is to show that you don't have to be maxed or have the best gear in the game to go collection log hunting. For a recap on the last episode, I needed to earn some money and I wanted to go on a pet hunt. So I decided to go to Soul Wars. After around 500 crates opened, I managed to get the Soul Wars pet and made roughly 38 mil. I then decided to finish all of the mini quests in the game, notably unlocking the Major Arena 2 capes, a TOA run and opening the door to Nyx. So to kick off my active goal of doubling my log slots, I'm going to grab myself a bunch of mining collection log slots. My clan had a mining competition going on, so I decided to go over to the Motherlode mine. There are 6 log slots up for grabs here, the Prospector outfit, a gem bag and a coal bag. Now I've gotten full Prospector a couple of times already on previous accounts and I can't remember it taking very long, though I was sorely mistaken because this did end up taking me a couple of days to get, but it's all good. It's quite a nice chill activity to do whilst I responded to your comments on the last video. I also got some mining levels from this as well, which was a nice bonus. After a few hours of the Motherlode mine, I figured I would take a quick detour and go mine some shooting stars. One of the rewards from this is the Celestial Ring, which gives an invisible boost to your mining level. So this makes sense to go for it early to speed up the mining grind. I used the Star Miners Discord and they would help me scout the stars. Sometimes with this Discord I'd be mining a star with a couple of dozen people, but sometimes I would get lucky and there would only be a few of us there. I kind of wish Jagex would update this so that you aren't punished for mining with other people. Also, does anyone remember back in RuneScape 2 when after you'd mine this thing to the core you'd see like a little alien fella? From what I remember he would give you some runes and a mining boost for a little bit. Anyway, with the Stardust I acquired, I bought the ring and went back to the Motherlode mine. It wasn't too long until I had unlocked the full Prospector kit. As I say though, I'm not finished yet, I still need to get the gem bag and the coal bag. So I gather more nuggets, snag some extra levels, and after a few more hours, I could buy them from the reward shop. Eventually, because I'm a completionist, I'll need to buy another Prospector set so that I have a golden set and a regular set. I'll also need to unlock the upper level in a bigger bag, but I'll leave that for another day. After that I started hunting the mining gloves. There are 3 slots available for these. Essentially all I had to do was mine in the mining guild and I get these unidentified minerals. You can also get these from the amethyst rocks if you have a high enough mining level and want to AFK some log slots, but I decided to power mine iron because it's decent XP per hour and I seem to unlock the minerals pretty quickly. I also got a few levels here as well, and I made sure to do birdhouse runs as often as possible and also got 81 hunter. Once I had 240 minerals, I bought both of the mining gloves from the shop. Then I used the extra minerals to combine them both, which unlocks the 3rd collection log slot. If you're wondering what these gloves do, essentially on some rock types you have a small chance of mining the ore, but the rock not depleting. So they're nice to have, especially if you want to mine runite or make amethyst mining more AFK. You'd think we'd be finished with easy collection log slots when it comes to mining, but nope. Another quick and easy set of log slots can be obtained from the Camdozel mine. This is unlocked after the Below Ice Mountain quest. I started by mining the veins of ore and I got 2 items, Baronite shards and Baronite deposits. The shards can be used to unlock buffs in the area as well as a small mini game, which I won't be showing off as I don't need to do that for log slots. But the item I'm interested in here are the Baronite deposits. I cracked these open and essentially they have a chance at giving more shards or some unique items for the collection log. The items labelled as ancient items can be just donated to the Varrock Museum for kudos. The other 2 items are the Incando hammer, which is broken, and the Baronite head. For the hammer you repair this with the shards, and the Baronite head is 1 part of 3 to create the Baronite mace. I actually ended up getting a couple of dupe hammers, which was pretty cool. I only repaired the one though, and this is a nice little item for birdhouse runs and for the defender role at Barbarian Assault, as well as smithing and mahogany homes and things like that. Anyway, after all of that mining, it was time to start fishing up the other piece of the Baronite mace. I don't know how long this is supposed to take, but I managed to get it in my 2nd inventory, so it was then time to start killing chaos golems. These guys drop the last piece that I need to craft the mace. They've got a really low level drop table, so there isn't really much to say about these, but they do drop chaos cores. Essentially what these do is act as 10 essence at a rune crafting altar, so I decided to actually pick these up. But it wasn't long until I managed to get the last piece of the Baronite mace. So I repaired it, unlocked another log slot for doing so, and then handed in the ancient pieces to the Varrock Museum for the kudos. Now it's back to mining. Yes, there are still some very easy log slots to unlock still. The next 3 that I'll be going for are the ones obtained in the volcanic mine. These really don't take too long to get at all, especially with a point boosting method that I found. Essentially, I would wait for the game to start, run through the mine with protect range on, check 2 vents, place a miner boulder a few times and run to the exit, then just, rinse and repeat. I got a little over 400 points each time I did this, and it's still decent mining XP too. I think I was getting around 45k XP per hour. After a few hours spent there, I could complete the log. At least as of the time I recorded this video, because they've added another log slot there, being the broken dragon pickaxe. But I'll be coming back for that one in another video. I think I've done enough mining for now, don't you think? I had some extra stardust, which meant I could also claim my first star fragment. You use these to recolor the prospector outfit. It's 1 fragment per piece, so I'll need another 3 fragments in the future. But as I say, I'm done with mining for now. My next 10 log slots are going to be unlocked within 5 minutes, and it's something almost any account can do. I bought Numalite on the Grand Exchange, I then teleported to Fossil Island, and there is this stone chest which you are able to put Numalite into, and it'll spit out these pages which I can add to the Fossil Island notebook. Each individual page is its own log slot, and there are 10 in total, so it's a nice quick boost, and it's an easy way to green log a section in the collection log. Okay, now it's time to PVM. My next target is the creature creation log, which is obtained in the Tower of Life. There are 7 log slots here, 6 satchels which drop from specific monsters, and a tea flask which drops from all 6. What makes this great is the fact that these have a really high drop chance, so I could knock this out really quickly. All I had to do is buy the correct materials and then summon these weird looking experiments at the altars. I think my favourite has to be the Jubster. The thing is massive, and you know what? I think I actually stumbled across a weird moneymaker here because I wasn't here for very long, and I managed to get about 160k worth of Jubblies. Something to think about if you're on med level, I suppose. Anyway, I carried on taking out these creatures and grabbing log slots, and it took me about half an hour to an hour to complete. One weird thing that I did find down here though was this weird room where if you walk on the tiles they light up. I asked Mod Ash on Twitter what the hell this was supposed to be, and he just said the dev made it for fun that day. So yeah. I then went under Falador Park to fight the giant mole. This guy has 2 guaranteed collection log slots when you kill him, being the mole skin and the mole claw. This is a great mid level boss, and I'll be camping this guy in the near future. I then grabbed some fishing explosives and headed out to Mudskipper Point. All I had to do was check the explosives in and take the Mogres out. The drops I'm looking for here are the flippers and the Mudskipper hat. The hat is a 1 in 25 and the flippers are a 1 in 64, so really not too bad at all. It took me about 20 minutes or so to get both of these items, and again it was pretty chill, so highly recommend if you haven't got these yet. Next up, I'm heading over to the Stronghold of Security. As we all know, there are 4 floors to the Stronghold, and there is 1 monster per floor that will drop a specific piece of the Skull Scepter, and each piece is its own log slot. For the first floor is Minotaurs, and these guys also drop beginner and easy clues pretty rapidly too, which is a nice bonus. I could also cannon everything as well, so it really is just a few fast and easy log slots. Once I had the first scepter piece, I headed down to the next floor to Flesh Crawlers. I feel like it took me longer to set up my cannon than it did to actually get the drop. So down I go to the next floor to fight the Catablapot. I have no idea how you pronounce these things, but I got the next scepter piece and I decided to finish one off, and I got a dupe piece, which is pretty nice because I can use that to charge the scepter. I then made my way to the next floor, and it's Anku's, so I grabbed my ectoplasmator from the previous episode, and that just acts as like a bone crusher for these guys. I wasn't here for long either and got the last piece that I needed to combine all of the items into a full scepter. Now this scepter is actually quite handy for some clue scroll locations as it teleports you to Barbarian Village. Teleporting with it is also a hard diary task, so highly recommend if you haven't got this one done either. Another 2 quick and easy log slots are the boss keys for the free-to-play bosses. Annoyingly, because I was coming back from a beginner clue that dropped, I didn't record the log slot pop-up, but you can see it in the chat box. I'm going to farm quite a lot of these in the future for both moss giants and hill giants, but it is a quick 2 log slots, so I thought why not. For the moss giants, I decided to fight these in the wildy because they have a boosted drop chance. Didn't see any PKs luckily, but I'm sure I'll run into a few of them when I'm farming them properly. For more log slots, I decided to go for some of the metal boot drops. These drop from Slayer monsters starting at bronze all the way to dragon. I decided to just go in order and start at bronze boots, which are dropped from cave crawlers. When I got the drop, I actually picked them up because for some reason I thought I'd need them. I got the iron boots in episode 2, so I skipped over those and went for steel boots next, which is a drop from Pyre Fiends. I had a quick look on the wiki for where these spawn because it's not a monster I go out of my way to kill. I found a nice spot on the Isle of Souls for them. Unfortunately for these I did go quite dry and was there for about an hour, but I'm not complaining because my luck sure did turn around later in the video. Anyway, the last pair of metal boots I went for was the mithril boots, which are actually super quick to get. I could just burst jellies in the catacombs for them. I was there for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, so that makes up for the biofiends. After that I went on a chompy hunt. These guys don't have any RNG tied to them, it's just hunt the chompies. The collection log slots come from the hats that I get for reaching certain KC milestones. Now I personally decided to just go for 1000 KC because that's all I need for the Western Province diary. There are more hats that you can get and they go up to 4000 KC, but I'll finish those off another time. Also, I personally think they should add the Jubster as a transmog for the chompy bear at 4000 KC. Once I had the KC, I went over to Rants, claimed the hats, and unlocked 8 log slots because I'd already claimed some of the lower tier hats previously. The next collection log slot that I decided to go for was a guaranteed 100% drop from a boss that some people don't even know about. It's a level 2 rabbit that can be found just above Prifdinus in a cave. Now don't be fooled by this thing, it has 2000 HP and hits like a truck. There are 2 methods to take this rabbit down. You can either kite it like you would Commander Zilliana with a crossbow, or you can use this really cheesy method of hopping into the cave, firing 1 or 2 bolts, and then leaving before the rabbit sends you back to Goblin Town, which is what I decided to do. I should have just kited it really because doing this method took over an hour, but eventually I did take the rabbit down, and the drop you get from this guy is the Crystal Grail, which sells on the GE for about 300k. I essentially traded this grail for a Sarachnis cudgel, which I'll be using next. So, as you can probably guess, I headed over to Sarachnis. There is a really common drop from Sarachnis, being a giant egg sack which drops at a rate of 1 in 20, and you can rack up KC here pretty quickly even in a budget setup. I managed to unlock some combat tasks along the way too, which was pretty nice. I did get crashed at one point by a max main with like 2 bill worth of gear. Quite sad really, but I couldn't really do much about it, so I hot worlds and carried on. Unlocked some more combat tasks and got the egg sack. Overall, a pretty quick log slot. Earlier I spoke about the Western Provinces diary, and for the hard diary you need to kill Zulrah just once, and it does have a guaranteed drop chance of Zulrah scales, which is a log slot. I decided I wasn't going to gear up in switches for this and just went for the mage only kill. Something quite unexpected happened during this kill. The audio is a little bit scuffed because I was watching something else on the side, but I've cleaned it up as best as I can. Anyway, here you go.
People are looking for in that type of content. We experimented on
No way, no way, no way. First KC. Oh man. Oh man. 3.6 mil as well, that's gonna help out quite a bit. I mean, trying to make money in the mid game like this is quite hard to do, so that's a nice little spike in cash actually. After Zulrah and the quick birdhouse run, I went over to Barrows. I'm not going for any Barrows piece in particular. Instead, what I'm trying to do is get my reward potential to 100%, which essentially gives me the bolt rex in the reward chest, which again is another log slot. When I come back here to do Barrows properly, I'll have the Mauritania hard diary done, and I'll be trying to maximize the rune drops over the bolt rex, so this might be the only time I actively go for them. I then ventured out into the Revenant caves. These guys have a 100% drop chance for Revenant Ether, and the bracelet is quite common as well to get. But do you know what else has a 100% drop chance in the wilderness? That's right, me. I took a small break from PVM because there are still so many more skilling slots up for grabs. I'm also missing quite a lot of the skilling outfits, so I decided to go over to the fishing trawler. This will give me the angler outfit. Now, normally the angler outfit isn't worth going for if you're just strictly talking about going for 99 fishing. It only saves around 300,000 experience, and you could have probably just earned more than that if you just stuck to fishing instead of doing this nightmare of a minigame. But the angler outfit isn't all about the XP boost that it gives. It's required for a master clue step. You need it to unlock minnow fishing, and I'm going to be storing it in the POH eventually too. Also, when it comes to Temperos, there is a hard combat diary task for finishing Temperos with an angler set equipped. Why that is a hard task, I have absolutely no idea. Not only that though, you can sort of upgrade the angler set at Temperos by turning it into the spirit angler set, which allows it to act as a rope when fighting Temperos. It actually took quite a while to get this angler outfit, and the public chat at times was probably worse than Wintertot, which is saying a lot, though eventually I did manage to get the full set. One skill and set that doesn't take very long to get is the Rogue's outfit, which I went for next. There's a plugin I enabled for this, which essentially just shows the route that you need to take. They also updated this a while ago so that instead of getting a rogue set piece, you can get a crate and just choose the piece that you want. To get the full set, it took me maybe just over an hour, and it's going to be really useful whenever I start to pickpocket Ardy Knights or even go for enhanced teleport seeds or blood shards in the future. I also decided to go for the lumberjack outfit, which you can get from the temple trekking minigame. This is also super quick. I think it took me less than an hour to get the full set here. You just choose the easiest option on route 1, then just keep resetting until you get the undead lumberjack instance. Then just kill the zombies until they give a lumberjack piece and teleport out, and rinse and repeat. I reckon they'll add the lumberjack outfit as some kind of reward for the forestry update coming out later this year as well. There are other skilling outfits I could go for, but I decided to stop there. The next 2 log slots are going to be coming from the grubby chest. Even if you don't have the Sarachnis pet, you can still get the transmog items for it. Grubby keys are around 34k each, and at least with the loot that I got, I basically would break even. So the transmog items I got here were the orange and the blue egg sac. Both are a 1 in 25 drop. On the last inventory where I got the blue egg sac, I decided I might as well open the last keys I brought and got a dupe, so that was cool. Okay, so these next 30 log slots actually took me over 140 hours to obtain. It kind of sucks that I've spent so long going for these log slots and I could really only show about 1 or 2 minutes of gameplay for it. I went to Trouble Brewing, and essentially there is a point boosting method for this. All I did was join a team, grab an inventory of water buckets, fill them up, and then dump them in the hopper upstairs. 1 bucket is 1 point, and the points are then spent on pirate outfits and banners. The points cap at 100 unless you decide to actually play the game and make rum. Hardly anyone does that though, so I would just AFK for the rest of the game, which would be about 15 minutes. Now, because I spent so long here, I actually optimized the bucket pouring. Yeah, I'm serious. So the first thing I'd recommend people do is download the Trouble Brewing plugin from the plugin hub. This just tracks how many buckets I poured into the hopper. I usually play in fixed mode, and for efficient buckets per hour, I needed to turn on resizable modern layout. Then I will position the hopper in this small area next to the inventory. This allowed me to 1-tick bucket pour. Sometimes people would stand in the way, so to be super efficient, I would pretend nobody existed and turned on the entity hider. If you end up doing Trouble Brewing yourself, there's something I need to quickly show you. Sometimes people on the other team would get so bored waiting 15 minutes for the next game, so they'll just come over to your base and set various things on fire. So to deal with that, pour a bucket of water on the fire. Then to repair the water tap, you need the bamboo pipe. For the hopper upstairs, it's the lumber patches. If someone is burning the water tap and you don't have any water, then you can go to the middle and fill a bucket from the pond. If the bridge is burnt, you'll want a bridge section, and that's about it. If you end up wanting to do this yourself, then you'll want to join World 304. You can also do this 1v1 with an alt account on the other team, but that's up to you. Another small strategy that I could have done was to bank stand skill for about 5 to 10 minutes each game, then join midway through, but I needed the AFK time, so I didn't do that. If you're wondering how many reward tokens you need to complete the log, it's 39,500. I decided to hold all of mine and then just go for one big dopamine rush at the end, unlocking all the pieces all at once. It felt pretty good spamming the clan chat with collection log slots. If you don't want to put in the 140 or more hours it takes to complete the log, you can actually just do one game where you fill 100 buckets and then buy the 2 bottles of rum and the stuff, which is used to brew mature beers. That's 3 log slots in just one game. Not sure I'll be wearing any of these cosmetic items. I think the purple outfit looks alright, but I've never really been a fan of any of the banners in the game. Now, if you've watched this video and thought to yourself that you'd like to get into collection log hunting, I'd like to quickly promote the Log Hunters Discord. This isn't a paid sponsorship or anything like that, it's just these guys have been really supportive of my adventures so far. I'm usually in there chatting most days and forming plans for future episodes. They also have a spreadsheet that you can use that when filled out it will tell you what the quickest log slots are that you can obtain on your account, so I highly recommend joining and having a look. Now for a couple of updates I'm sure at least a few people are wanting to see. Here is the Dopamine tab. The clue caskets are piling up quite nicely and the bird egg collection is coming along too. My Castle Wars tickets haven't gone up that much since I had to use my AFK time on Trouble Brewing instead. Also worth mentioning that I'll be going for another 1800 tickets to build the Castle Wars Armor 3 stand in the POH. So yeah. That's a lot of tickets. But it's going to be nice to unlock it all in the future. For the progress made in this episode, here are the stats I had at the beginning, and here are the stats I ended up on at the end. My plans for the next episode are to finish off 99 mining, and I'll be talking about my first huge project, which is going to launch me rapidly into the late game and make me a ton of money. That episode should be on screen, but if it's not ready yet, I'll link to a quick video I made where I talk about my updated goals and plans for potentially streaming. And that's about it. See you.